You just have to die on so many hills per season, so I guess you
I
can
will
do it
make
on
a
this one.
bad play to prove that you can stream shitty quarterbacks and still win all the time.
You're listening to Let's Talk Fantasy Football, where men of fantasy genius have realized, hey guys, we don't need real football skills to dominate on the fantasy field. Yeah! So slap on your pads and grab your helmet. Shit's about to get real.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Let's Talk Fantasy Football. I am your host. My name is Nick Walsh. This is part 2 of the Week 14 preview, and I am here with my good pal, Vinny Gonzalez. What's up, dude?
What's going on, dude?
Not much. I'm ready to rock on through this. We first do have to give a quick shout out to BenchBoss. They are the revolutionary app that allows you to play fantasy football live while watching the game on TV. Predict the plays, the results of the play, and literally play fantasy football. And again, you can sign up for that beta now by going to letstalkfantasyfootball.com/benchboss. So Vinny, we got 8 games to get through. Try and get through them and get to some listener questions as well. Let's start with San Francisco at Houston. Houston's a 3-point favorite. The over-under is 43 points. This game is going to suck, and I don't want to see a single second of it.
I don't know. I feel like it could be sneaky good.
For real?
Yeah. I just think watching Jimmy G and Savage hasn't been awful, but he hasn't been good by any means. But
it's possible he'll get Fuller back too, I guess, which is interesting.
Yeah, so Fuller comes back probably. I think Miller even has a chance to play. Braxton, not Lamar. But
okay.
So they could have more options than we think. And I just think both defenses are weak as shit. So this could be – I'd probably bet the over is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. That's fair. I don't really know what to think about Jimmy Garoppolo. He came out and threw for a lot of yards, did not have any touchdowns. They kicked 5 field goals. So, I mean, I guess that's interesting. They won, which is good. On the San Francisco side of the ball, outside of Carlos Hyde, do you have interest in like a Marquise Goodwin or anyone like that?
Yeah, Goodwin for sure. I think he's bound to break a huge touchdown in this game. It just makes sense. The matchup is there. He had 8 targets and almost broke 100. I think he got 99, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So he's definitely, a preferred target, but we also did see Trent Taylor get several targets from Garoppolo, which is, I saw something funny. I think it was on Twitter. There's like Garoppolo following his roots of being a Patriot by immediately targeting the undersized white dude. I was like, I like that a lot. But so he's spreading the ball around. I mean, I think they both saw 8+ targets. So that is, it's decent. And if you're not going to depend on Goodwin for a single shot touchdown, at least the targets will be there. So I think he's a safe floor play and a great, high ceiling play.
Okay. It's worth noting that both Goodwin and Taylor caught 100% of their targets this past week. So that's not likely to continue. But still, it's a good sign that they're getting those targets from Garoppolo and that sort of thing going forward. Hyde is the other obvious play. That's about it for me for San Francisco. Do you have anyone else?
No, I think we hit them all.
All right. On the Houston side of the ball, Hopkins, Miller, is that it?
Yes. What do you think about streaming Steven Anderson since, Fedorowicz is probably out with that concussion?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would have worked out for you this past week, right?
He got 12 targets and caught that touchdown too. So he had a good game.
Yeah.
It's just, do you want to rely on Savage for those targets is pretty much what you're banking on, which is
right.
a little rough.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'd do it. Anyone who's, a tight end getting that many targets, you should probably be paying attention to.
Yeah. Well, the thing I think also is he got those targets because Miller left and, they really had nowhere to go. Also, Bruce Ellington left as well, who is
he's done.
Yeah, he's on IR now.
Yeah.
So that could explain the targets, and it might be a bust, it might be a trap play, but 12 targets still.
Yeah, I mean, they threw the ball 49 times last week, so I don't know whether they're going to do that again, but still, it's a decent percentage. It's over 20% of those targets. So, yeah, I'm down with Steven Anderson there. And then Lamar Miller continues to be kind of a high floor, low ceiling play in this offense.
Yeah. He's pretty much a better Crowell right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Who do you got in this one?
I'm going to take the 49ers, and they go on a win streak.
Okay, I like that. I'm also going to take the Niners.
Nice.
Let's move on to Washington at the Chargers. I feel like we kind of talked about this game a lot, even though
we did
bringing up player comparisons and whatnot in the last one. So for background here, the Chargers are a 6-point favorite. The over/under is 46. On the Washington side of the ball, I'm off on Kirk. I'm not about it. The Chargers have only allowed 2 top 12 weeks to quarterbacks this year. I don't want to take that chance in a very important matchup. We kind of spoke about P. Ryan in one of the questions there. I think he's an okay play. And then what do you think about Davis and Crowder?
Hard to trust either, but I think Crowder, I'd put it like an okay, like a very low okay wide receiver 3. Mm-hmm. And Vernon Davis, I'd probably take a gamble on Steven Anderson instead of Vernon Davis. So I think I'm drawing the line already there. So that's pretty rough. I don't like Davis anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I can really trust Davis either. He only had 2 targets this past week, so it's a little bit tough there.
Yeah, and they were great matchups. He played the Giants and the Cowboys, and comes into another one against the Chargers. So it's just it's hard to trust, and I think you can go elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. Ryan Grant did get 9 targets this last week. I didn't really realize that.
Yeah, and then this week he'll get 3. So I wouldn't worry about Ryan Grant. But he has been soaking it up a little bit.
I guess the lesson is kind of just stay away from the Redskins unless you really need to.
Yeah, pretty much.
Chargers side of the ball, we talked about Phillip within that range, like Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Alex Smith, all those sorts of guys. What about his targets? What about Keenan Allen?
Yeah, I think Keenan keeps it rolling. I mean, we have Norman who doesn't shadow, so that's no big deal. They'll move Keenan around, and he'll definitely get his. I don't know when this streak is going to stop, but you do not want to, fuck around. Throw Keenan out there for sure. I just would be impressed if he keeps it going, like 10 plus catches a game with that touchdown is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's just been a target hog completely over these past couple of weeks. I don't know if I trust anyone else really in that receiving game though.
I could see people playing Hunter Henry if he's healthy.
Yeah, that's fair. He did get 9 targets again this past week. That's kind of an outlier relative to the rest of his season, but it's something. And then in the run game, Melvin Gordon appears to be back healthy, and the Austin Eckler phenomenon is no longer really a thing.
Yeah, I wasn't really on board with the Eckler thing. It was short-lived, but exciting, but short-lived.
Yeah, short-lived is correct. I'm taking the Chargers in this one.
Yeah, give me some Chargers here.
All right, let's move on to the Jets and the Broncos. So the Jets are a 1-point favorite. The over-under here is 41 points. This game is kind of going to suck, I think, too. I don't really want to watch it. I don't know. What do you think about the Jets in this matchup?
Slightly nervous. I don't know. I just feel like the Broncos defense has been very beatable, and I feel like the Jets are due for like a bust of a game, and I feel like it could come here in an away game in Denver.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I mean, downtown McCown's been great, but he's hard to trust in this matchup.
And Talib comes back as well.
Yeah, does that take you off of Robbie Anderson, or are you still on Robbie Anderson?
Robbie Anderson has worked his way into like must-start stud territory, so I wouldn't get cute with that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't think anything could really take me off of Robbie Anderson at this point. But the rest of the offense, ASJ hasn't been a must-start in a while. That backfield is still, 3-headed, and you're never really sure where the production is going to come from, though Forte is likely the guy to start if you need to. Do you have anything else on the Jets?
No, you nailed that one.
Okay. What about the Denver side of the ball with Trevor Siemian at the helm? Do you think they can take advantage of this matchup?
If they couldn't do it against Miami, I don't think they do it against the Jets. The Jets like bend for like 3 quarters and then break in the fourth, but they've been solid. So I don't trust Simeon. He just hasn't looked right since the benching and stuff. So I'm kind of out on the whole offense, and I'm scared of Thomas and Sanders too. You've been rolling them out there every single week, and they just haven't.
Yeah, they haven't been producing.
No, they've been doing nothing. So I'm scared, but you have to play both. I think still, right?
I'm sitting them if I can. I'm playing Marquise Lee. I'm playing.
Okay.
Who else would be in that discussion?
Let's see.
What about Marquise Goodwin?
Yeah, I'd go Goodwin over both of those guys, actually.
Okay. Mohamed Sanu.
Yep, I'd play Sanu over both of them as well.
What about Doug Baldwin in that bad matchup?
Fuck.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I think I'd still play Baldwin, and I'd be wrong. So don't listen to me.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think the point is, like, I don't think you need to start anyone in this Denver offense because obviously the running backs, the usage is changing week to week. CJ Anderson just got 15 points after not having more than 11 PPR points in the past like 8 weeks, but 11 was his highest by far. I don't know. I thought Devontae Booker was leaning towards being the guy there. I think he got hurt this past game, or not enough to like really make a difference, but enough that they weren't giving him the workload. So I don't really want to trust anyone in this whole offense.
Yeah, there is little to no reason to trust anyone. So I'd probably shy away.
Cool. Who you got in this?
After we just shit on the Broncos there for all fantasy purposes, I will take them in this game for no apparent reason. I think the Jets
I'm going to do that too.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm going to take the Jets.
Okay.
Though I do think if Denver wins, it's going to be on like 3 defensive touchdowns.
That's a good way to put that.
We'll see. All right. Tennessee at Arizona. Tennessee's 8-4. How about that? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
They don't fucking look like it at all. They've had no crazy wins. They've had no definitive wins. They look like a shit team too when you watch them live.
Yeah, they don't look good by any means, but
absolutely
they're 8-4, and they are heading into Arizona as 3-point favorites with an over/under of 44. I don't know. What do you think about Tennessee? What do you think about Mariota? This is theoretically a good matchup for him, and he had a pretty good game, or a pretty startable game against the Texans this past week.
Yeah, I think that's because the Texans have been just god-awful and letting up a ton of points. So, although, Arizona hasn't been the greatest either, but Mariota's hard to trust, and so is this offense. So it's a risky street. Like, I'd rather play Derek Carr, like we talked about. Mm-hmm. I'd rather bank on Alex Smith again. Who else? I'd rather play Jameis. So I think that's probably where I stand. So I would not play Mariota if you can.
Definitely fair. With his pass catchers, Rashard Matthews is looking likely to be back, which I guess means Patrick Peterson would shadow him. I still don't think I want to play either Corey Davis or Eric Decker based on that. And I think the only pass catcher I'm after is Delaney Walker.
You are correct, sir. Only Walker for me as well.
And then what about these running backs? Henry's looked better. He got in the end zone this past week. Murray gets pretty much all the pass work, though, so Henry's definitely touchdown dependent. What do you think about these two guys? Just rolling both his flexes?
It's always harder to roll Henry for me. I've yet to buy in, even though he's been, getting the touchdowns, I guess. I mean, it's always in the last minute when he breaks a 75-yard run, but it fucking happens for whatever reason. I just don't trust either, but I think you're not wrong if you want to play either. So I think you can play both.
Yeah, that's fair. Neither of them are must plays, but they're both okay starts if you need to make that start. On the Arizona side of the ball, are you going to buy into Ricky Seals-Jones?
Oh, man. No.
Yeah, neither am I.
Yeah, it's just like the buy-in week was last week, and he had an opportunity to touchdown, but it was missed. So I don't know. I'm out. I do something else. Steven Anderson, definitely over him.
Oh, totally. 100% Steven Anderson over Ricky Seals-Jones.
Yep.
Is there? I mean, Tennessee's pass defense has been bad. Is Gabbert on your radar at all? Is like even a low end guy?
He's a total glory play, so I would stay away from that this time of the year. You don't have to do that, but I do like. Okay, yeah. So you're a glory play kind of dude.
I'm particularly with quarterbacks.
You just have to die on so many hills per season, so I guess you can do it on this one.
I will make a bad play to prove that you can stream shitty quarterbacks and still win all the time.
I don't know if you heard Don, but he was very upset with your comments about Geno, and obviously you died on that hill last week. But
no, yeah, not a good hill to be on.
So Blaine Gabbert Hill it is.
And then Larry obviously is the guy there.
Yes.
You want to keep playing him no matter what. Do we have an update on Adrian Peterson? Do you know if he's going to play?
He's still not practicing, but I think they're leaning towards a midweek guesstimation would be that he would play.
Okay, so if he goes, I don't think you can play him or Kerwin Williams. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it kind of ruins it. But if Peterson's out, what would you do with Williams, who I thought was out with cracked ribs, but was totally playing with bruised ones, so I was misinformed on that. But he looked pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, he had a nice game this past week in not really an ideal matchup, 16 carries for 97 yards. I think he's another guy within the range of the other two running backs in this game. If you don't have Peterson, like Murray, Henry, and Kerwin Williams are all in sort of that RB2 flex range.
Yeah, I'd say, I'd probably lean more like desperate RB2, and I'd probably look elsewhere for a flex option. I think there's higher ceiling dudes.
Okay, that's definitely fair. Do you have anyone else in this game?
I do not.
Cool. I'm going to take Tennessee.
I'm going to take Arizona.
All right. I like that. Let's take a quick break to hear from our friends at BenchBoss, and we'll be right back.
This year, dominate your friends with free play-by-play fantasy football from BenchBoss. BenchBoss is the first play-by-play fantasy football game where you must think like the players and coaches on the field as you predict the outcome of every play. Earn rewards as you compete against friends and fans across the country. BenchBoss is currently recruiting beta testers, and we need you. Visit benchboss.tv to learn more and sign up today.
All right, we are back with the last four games of the week. We'll start with Philadelphia at the Rams. The Rams are a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under is 49.5. This is the game of the week in my eyes in terms of real football.
Yes.
I'm wondering how much fantasy production we can get out of it. And honestly, I think it's a lot.
It is a lot. I'm with you. I think this should be fantastic. If it lets me down, I'll be very sad.
So obviously on Philly, you're playing Wentz, you're playing Jeffrey, you're playing Aguilar, you're playing
whatever healthy tight end.
Zach Ertz, yes.
Well, he's probably going to miss, so Trey Burton becomes top end number one stream of the week, I think.
Right. That makes sense. Am I wrong for thinking that you can play Ajayi just because this strikes me as a game that's going to be close, and LeGarrette Blount's like their pound the rock guy when they're up in the game, which they weren't last week. He didn't get that much usage, and Corey Clement really only got usage towards the end of the game last week. So I think I'm on Ajayi as a guy that you can throw out there.
That's very fair. I would just be absolutely terrified.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but the weird thing that the Eagles did last week was, this is probably the biggest game they played of the season was last week, and they tried to establish the run and it didn't work, and then they started passing, which is what they've been so successful at, and just started ripping it up. And if they did that from the start, I think they would have possibly won that game. So I'm eager to see how they come out in this one. I think they just kind of throw it the entire game. So that's kind of why I'm off Jay Ajayi. I'd be pretty scared because he's not involved in the passing game either. That's more of the Corey Clement kind of deal. So I'm off Ajayi in that regard.
Okay. And then I think the Rams are actually pretty easy here with Gurley, Kupp, and Sammy Watkins. Do you have any interest in Goff?
Yes. Just because I think this should be close and or a shootout. So I do like Goff. And if we like Kupp and Watkins, there's no reason to not like Goff.
That's fair.
Also Gurley in the pass game too. So that helps.
Oh yeah. Gurley, I think, is going to crush this game.
Yes, absolutely.
He's going to do very, very well. Do you have anyone else on the Rams that you're interested in?
I do not.
All right. Who do you got in this one?
Man, it's tough. I'm going to go with the Eagles, though. I think they have to rebound.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Rams. And I feel like the winner of this game might be, NFC favorite going forward.
Yep.
All right, Dallas at New York. That's the Giants. Again, much less interesting game. Dallas is a 4.5-point favorite on the road. The over/under is 41.5. We saw Alfred Morris really have a great game on Thursday. I don't see any reason why he can't do it again.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Garrett even came out and said that they'd like to give him somewhere in that 20 touch realm. Mm-hmm. So in a game that Dallas should, fucking win, regardless of Eli coming back or not, he should see his decent amount of touches, and he should be played.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any interest in Rod Smith as the guy behind him, or?
I do not, but he seems to get his. They don't want to give Alfred Morris touches in the fourth, and he's been punching in some touchdowns. But I'm gonna obviously stay away from that.
Fair enough. Dez, he got in the end zone last week. He had 5 catches for 61 yards against this Giants defense. I think he's a play, and then you always play tight ends against the Giants, so I'm on Witten again this week too. Yeah,
I'm never on Witten, and this is still a good matchup despite, the Giants being a little more improved or whatever the hell has been happening lately for the last couple of weeks where they've busted the tight end that you've been playing. So it sucks, but Jason Witten's a fine play, and yes, Dez for sure.
All right, cool. Giants side of the ball. Do you like anyone outside of Evan Ingram?
I don't. He's literally the only guy I have confidence in.
Okay. Nothing in Darkwa or anything like that? I'm asking for a friend.
Definitely you, man. Smooth. You have a very unique situation in your running backs are shit, but you make it work, and they're it's impressive. If I say it myself, but you could get away with playing him for sure, Walsh, which I'm sure you probably might do.
I'm not gonna. You might. I'm going to play Collins ahead of him.
Yeah, that's definitely a good move and probably a good line to set too because, obviously Collins is way better. If you're playing Darkwa, he hasn't been getting the work, but he's been landing some touchdowns, which are very fluky, especially on the Giants. So,
yeah, he's touchdown dependent on a team that's not going to score many touchdowns.
Correct.
Okay. Who you got in this one?
I'm going to take Dallas.
Yeah, me too. Sure. I'm definitely not on the Giants.
No.
We got 2 more games. The Sunday night game, we got more primetime Pittsburgh. We have Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a 5.5-point favorite, which seems heavy to me. The over-under is 43.5. The big news on the Pittsburgh side of the ball is Juju Smith-Schuster is suspended. I think the question there is, does that make Martavis Bryant viable to you? Because we know it's going to filter the offense more through Bell and Brown for sure. But do you think Bryant is an okay start this week?
Yeah, last time Juju missed a game, Bryant came up big with that touchdown. Didn't have a monster game or anything like that, but did what we expected Martavis Bryant to do, which is play a football game and get a touchdown. So if he's I was going to say if Juju misses, but he's fucking suspended. So definitely, I like Martavis Bryant as a play is what I'm trying to get at. Also, Jimmy Smith, the Ravens' best corner, tore his Achilles tendon in the game against the Lions. So he is out for the season. It bumps up all the pass catchers, and Martavis Bryant just happens to be a pass catcher. So I like him as a play.
Yeah, I'm on that as well. I think you can play Bell, Brown, and Martavis. I am not on Roethlisberger, though, in this matchup.
Yes,
or really ever at this point.
Yeah, I don't trust him and his stupid shit. So he can get 30 on someone else's team on some random week. We're not playing that.
Yeah, definitely. And then I think on the Baltimore side of the ball, I think the only guy you can play is Collins. Am I off on that?
So, oh man, I fucking hate myself, dude. But Mike Wallace is their number one and has been having good games. And the Steelers have been getting softer and softer in the past. They were fantastic at the beginning of the year, and they've been tailing off. So super desperate situation where you have to have been playing Wallace the last couple weeks, I think, to be so desperate to keep playing him. But it's probably the only other guy I would consider.
Okay, that's fair. He had the same amount of targets as Macklin this past week. He just, did a ton more with them. And you're right, he's gotten 11 and 8 targets the past 2 weeks, whereas Macklin has gotten 5 and 8. So he does appear to be the number one there. It's weird that Woodhead came back and it solidified Collins as a startable running back every week. I don't get exactly how you get from one to the other there, but that seems like what's happened. Don't play Woodhead if you're a person who picked him up.
I would say drop Woodhead for a second defense, fucking second, third quarterback. There's no reason to play him, rest of season at all. And you're not going to use him this week. So I think you should pick up any kind of other help that you could need looking forward to the playoffs, pick a good matchup for a defense or something and do that.
Okay. That's a pretty fair recommendation. I think there's not really a scenario where Woodhead is going to become playable. It doesn't seem like this year. Outside
of an injury to Collins.
Right. Exactly. And then, so who would you be taking in this game?
I'm going to still stay with Pittsburgh. I think they still go nuts on the Ravens because, they're home, prime time. Pittsburgh will just finish it out.
I'm going to pick the upset with Baltimore.
Why?
And then, I don't know. I think Baltimore's been playing better recently.
Crazy.
I don't know. I don't think Pittsburgh's that good either, but we'll see. Last game of the week, New England at Miami. New England here is an 11-point favorite on the road. The over-under is 47. Basically, the moral of that story is Miami is not going to do a ton, most likely, in this game. Gronk is suspended for that cheap shot, giving the defensive player concussion on the ground. Chris Hogan is also likely to be back. So is it let me see if I can run down them. It's Brady, Lewis, Burkhead, Hogan, Cooks, Amendola. I don't think there's a tight end. I don't think I'm going to go after Dwayne Allen. Do you want to go after him?
No. I was going to say that was a fine list, and I think ranked appropriately as well.
Okay. Do you have a preference of Lewis and Burkhead?
You know me, man. Anybody but Burkhead. I'm going to stick with Lewis. If Lewis finishes a couple runs, Burkhead gets dick at the red zone. So I'm going to go with Lewis. He gets more work. Well, I don't know. They're kind of fucking breaking even, but I definitely like Lewis more than Burkhead.
I like Lewis better in this matchup too. I think they're going to be up a lot, and Lewis will just kind of grind out the game a little bit. So, yeah, I'm more on Lewis than Burkhead as well. Miami side, who do you got?
Man, no one except for Drake. I think that's it.
Drake, yeah. There hasn't been any news on Damian Williams. Is there a chance he'll be back or no?
That would be horrible because I actually haven't seen anything either. And I feel like a lot of people are banking on riding out the Drake train here. So
yeah,
that would suck. But yeah, obviously if we hear news or you find it yourself, Damian Williams, if he's out, obviously Drake gets all that volume and should be a great play. I guess, man, Landry, you got to play Landry. That's it.
You might be able to play Stills too, but I don't really want to.
No, I wouldn't want to. Probably just Landry because he's just the force play stud there, and that's just you don't want to go down with benching him. So
yeah, I think that's pretty fair. So you're taking Miami in this one, right?
Oh yeah, Miami's gonna win.
Cool, me too. I think Miami's gonna win also. All right, guys, that's it for our game breakdown this week. Let's get through a couple of these reader questions, and we will let you guys go for Week 14. The first one is from Chad. Pick one that you would not start, and these are DeMarco Murray, Peyton Barber, Kareem Hunt, and McKinnon.
I would not play Peyton Barber.
Same. That seems like a bad play to me with Doug Martin back.
Yep.
All right, so Mark is trying to decide his RB2 because Alvin Kamara is his RB1. That is nice. And this is PPR. He has Kareem Hunt, Jordan Howard, or Marshawn Lynch. Who do you got there?
I'm going to go with Hunt. Matchup.
Yeah, I think you got to go with Hunt. I know he's been disappointing, but the usage is there and the matchup is there. It just makes all the sense in the world. Next question is from Felix. Who's the better start out of these four? We might as well just rank these guys.
That's fair.
Larry Fitzgerald, Carlos Hyde, Devontae Freeman, and Samaje Perine. We also don't know whether it's PPR or not, but I think I would have them in that exact order that he gave them to us in.
For me, I would switch Freeman and Hyde, so I'd go Fitz, Freeman, Hyde, Perine.
Okay, that's fair. I think Fitz, though, for both of us is our number one. Again, if it's not PPR, that might make a slight difference, but I think I'd probably still have Fitz there, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, cool. Next question is from Brandon. I can start two of these guys. It is Fournette, Jamal Williams, Lamar Miller, and Kenyon Drake. I'm Fournette and Drake on that one.
I'm going to take Fournette and Williams here.
Okay. We went through this on the last podcast. Vinny and I have a slightly different opinion on whether or not Williams will continue to get the work. So keep an eye out. Honestly, keep an eye out for any sort of tips in that situation from the coaching staff, from like Mort or Schefter or, Ian Rappaport or whoever. If there's any sort of indication of who's actually going to get the work, like take that into account over what we're saying right here.
That's a great point, actually, because I was kind of worried about, Aaron Jones coming back with the Jamal Williams situation last week. And I think it was the running backs coach was like, Williams is definitely our dude. We'll workhorse him and we'll keep giving him carries. I have yet to see anything like the Aaron Jones side, like, oh, he broke that big run. He deserves more carries. So like you said, keep an eye on it. Definitely a good tip.
All right, cool. Next question is from Justice. I need one wide receiver and one running back out of Doug Baldwin, Emmanuel Sanders, Jamal Williams, and Aaron Jones. And this is full PPR. What do you think here, Vinny?
Well, goddamn, this whole 2-part podcast built up to this question, I think, because we're going to have to pick between Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones. But for me, I'm going to stick with what I said before, too, about Baldwin. And I will play Baldwin and I will play Jamal Williams.
I'm with you. Again, keep an eye out on the information going forward with Williams and Jones. But at this point in the week, and this is Wednesday night, we're recording this, but Jamal Williams is the guy ahead of Jones for me. Last question from Mitch. Sammy Watkins or Mike Wallace? That's actually an interesting question.
Give me some Sammy.
Yeah, I'm on Sammy too. I fucking hate playing Mike Wallace at all times.
Absolutely. And Sammy should be able to make some stuff happen. He's been, great since Robert Woods has been out and very surprisingly reliable in fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. So we're both on Sammy there. That's going to do it for us. Vinny, you got anything else for the people before we let everyone go for week 14?
Man, good luck to everybody. Hope you did way better than me this year in all aspects, not only in fantasy but in life. So get the hell out there and fucking win your league. Good luck to you guys. We'll be back next week with all the good shit. So good luck to everybody is what I want to say. Follow your heart, follow your dreams.
Absolutely. Good luck to everyone with playoffs or important matchups or whatever you may have. And for Vinny and for Let's Talk Fantasy Football, I am Walsh. Later, podcast.
This has been Let's Talk Fantasy Football. Thanks for listening.